Okay, so we're talking about making big funding bids and hopefully being successful with them. And you've just had a really successful funding bid, and we'd love to hear some tips. So, what do you think was the most important thing about your application that made it successful?
I think the most important thing was the research, actually doing your research for the area in which you live. For instance, we're here in East Kilbride, and so therefore I was able to find out the statistics of poverty in East Kilbride. In 2019, there was the child poverty report came out, and it said at that time that East Kilbride had £27,000 of debt per person, and that 25% of children were living in poverty. So to get that information, to get the research for the area in which you live is really, really important. Yeah,
Yeah, great,
yeah.
great. And could you tell us a little bit more about the whole process of your application?
So, firstly, went online and downloaded all the questions and took time to look at the questions and to fill them in very relevantly, so that you're actually quoting facts and figures, that you're answering them really to what they want, being specific and not just putting a lot of, as I would say, waffle down. It's actually keeping it condensed, keeping it precise, and yet getting your point across. I think it's also important that um, you find out what you're doing in the community. People, funders are looking for what you are doing as a church in your local community. So have that information in as well. So if you're part of the food bank, put that information in. If you're working alongside other churches, put that information in. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, and this wasn't even a Christian funder, was it? And they still really
No.
wanted to know that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. So the funder wanted to know what we were doing in the local community. And I think also they want to hear that you're working alongside other agencies. They want to hear who you are working with. I think it's an important part of the application, as well as what you're doing yourselves, how you yourselves are working in the community.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Great. And what would be your sort of top tips for people making these kind of bids?
I think the top tips would be to take your time in making the application, go over it, leave it, come back to it, but be precise, be relevant, do your research. Funders really are keen that you do your research and know your local community, know what's going on out there. As I say, the facts and figures speak for themselves when you actually do that research.
Yeah, great. And you said as well, as part of this application, there wasn't just the written application, you had a second stage. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so the second stage was actually a meeting with a representative from the funder. So I felt it was better that it wasn't just me doing that. Although I'd sent the application off, um, I actually got one of our finance team to be part of this interview. And I'm really glad I did, because this person was amazing. And so there were lots of questions that they asked, and we were able to answer each one of them, which was great. We were able to give the stats and the statistics, but equally we were able to tell them, and this is really important, no cap. Go online and find out about cap. You know, if you're looking for funding for cap, know everything you can about them. Know exactly what you want your, as in this case, our debt centre manager, know what you want them to do, know what their job description is going to be. It's very important that you know the work of CAP.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, so the person I had alongside me in this interview, between the two of us, we were able to answer all their questions. And they weren't easy questions either. So be prepared.
Great. Could you think of any of the examples of the questions they asked?
So some of the questions. So obviously the research, the stats and statistics. They wanted one of those ones. They wanted to know what the debt centre manager would do. They wanted to know who was going to be responsible for that person, where they would be working, which in this case, the debt centre manager actually goes into people's homes and works alongside and then sends the information to CAP. But they were also interested in the other parts of the work. They were interested in the online money courses, which we were running. They were interested in the fact that it was a holistic ministry, as in you have befrienders who can work with the person in debt, that you can work with other agencies like Food Bank that are out there that you can signpost them to. So they were interested in every single aspect of the whole job and the application. Yeah.
Yeah, so you really do need to know your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Anything else that you want to say about it?
No, but I would say that if anyone wanted any information, that I would have no problem in helping someone. So if anyone was applying for a debt centre manager, then, give me an email at East Mains Baptist Church. Just give me an email, and even if they want to just talk through the process, I'd be quite happy to do that.
Oh, great. Thank you. That's really
Yeah,
lovely. Awesome. Thank you so much.
that's okay.